What's going on, guys? So in today's episode, I want to share with you guys why it's so important to be in a place of servicing your clients versus selling your clients. So with that being said, I talked about in our last video why it's so important for you to find the ideal tribe that you want to work with. Because maybe you have goals to go out and venture on your own at one point, open your own brokerage, run your own team, whatever it is. I highly, first of all, encourage that because you should have a goal bigger than what you even fathom right now. That is like key to success. But also, how do you do that? I feel like most people that are coaching other agents that are new, whether that's somebody that's actually not doing it for themselves, whether that's a company that is trying to sell you leads, or just simply bad information that's out there because there's just so much, right? The reality is that most people are not really understanding what's important for the client. And I'm going to tell you one thing, clients know when you are there to truly help them. And maybe they don't figure you out right away, but I promise you they will. And for me, I'd rather be upfront with my clients and tell them exactly what it is that's going to benefit them, what we can do for them, and allow them to choose to work with our team because they truly feel that we care. We gave them all the facts. And I'm going to give you a quick example, okay? Because if you're a realtor and you're a new agent in the industry, or even a seasoned vet, and maybe you're just, your business is not growing exactly where you want it to be, the reality is that there's so much misconception when it comes to realtors, right? A lot of the times it's like, well, they're just in it for the money. And one of my coaches made a funny joke about it. It's like, well, you don't go to work to get paid in smiles, right? If that's the case, then definitely, I don't know what to tell you. But for most of us, we have a family that we want to provide for, right? We have things that we're trying to accomplish in life. Therefore, we are working for a monetary exchange. However, when you're just doing something out of wanting to get more money and not seeing it as servicing the client first, you will be shortly outlived by that, because what happens is that you're now not providing value to these clients that are trusting you with one of the most important decisions. Like for some people, buying or selling real estate is one of the most impactful events in their life. Think about it, like they've worked so hard to get into a home and now they're trusting somebody, whether it's to sell it or to buy the house. It's a huge moment in their life. And I recently came across a listing. So one of the clients calls me and they're like, hey, we've been following you on social media. We love your content. And you know what? Our agent has not been able to sell our home. It's going on I think it was 80 days on the market now. I think 90 actually. And she's like, I'm really trying to get into another house and I just don't know what to do. So I told her, I was like, you know what? Let me run the analysis. Let me gather all the facts and then we can get on another call. And she did tell me, she was like, because I told her, I was like, I don't like to step on anybody's toes. And she was like, no, actually, I've already told her that, because apparently she was like a family friend, which we all know how great that can be, right? When we're working with, friends and family, sometimes it can be a little complicated. Not all the time, but and she tells me, she's like, no, she's aware. And she's actually told me to find somebody that can help me sell it because she's done everything that she can. I was like, oh, okay. So I proceed to do the analysis. And guys, this listing was literally about $30,000 above asking price in that area. It should have not started even at the price that it started. At one point, it was like $50,000 above the asking price. So I looked at it and right away I was like, okay, that's why it's not selling. Like the house is beautiful. It has everything that, buyers are looking for, but the price just doesn't make sense. The numbers are not adding, right? So what ends up happening at that point is we had got on another call, had sent her an analysis, and I was like, look, I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't even first of all, the numbers are completely off, but second of all, because her goal was to get into a new home and she had to get a certain amount. And this is not the first time that this happens. I'm using her because she's the most recent one, but it happens all the time. So I'm getting to my point. I'm landing that plane. And she essentially goes, I tell her, I was like, look, we need to find out now, what is your buying power for that new house? Because if you're selling this house to get into a new house, but yet now the interest rates are a factor, that's changed, and you're trying to get into the new home, well, obviously it's essential that we understand if you're going to be able to get into that new house, because if not, then this whole plan is pointless, right? It's not going to give you your desired outcome. So I shared with her and I told her, I was like, look, like, I don't want to put you in that situation. Let's now find out what our numbers are for you to qualify for the new home, and then from there we can really assess like what it is that we should do. And I told her, like, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to persuade you in any way to move forward before you know all the facts and before you know that for sure this is going to work to put you into that new home. Because if not, then hold on to the property and we will talk about selling it later. Because as of right now, if the numbers are not going to work with what you need to get out of this house to put into the next one, then why would you even do that? And you see, for a lot of people, they wouldn't do that. For a lot of people, they would rather tell the client what they want to hear versus telling them what they actually need to hear. You're the expert, guys, right? You're the one that they've trusted now to help them in this investment of their life. And by you being in a place of servicing others, that's going to go such a long way. There's so many coaches out there that they're going to tell you like, oh, you want to go and do marketing and you want to make sure you're branding yourself and you want to make sure that you're, putting mailers out, or you want to make sure that you're, geo-farming. You want to make sure. I can sit here and talk to you about all of that, and we'll make another video to talk about more marketing specific details. But the reality is none of that matters if you're not coming from a place of servicing. That is the reality. And sometimes I know, especially like if you're new to the industry and you're trying to make your first commission, that can seem very daunting because you're like, Alexa, like, I'm trying to eat. I have a family that I'm trying to provide to. And trust me, I get it. I've been there. I have shared that at one point in my life, I was making $16,000 a year, not a month, $16,000 a year. And that was very, very humbling. I've had even more humbling experiences when I was younger, and I know all about not having it. However, now that we're talking about having to provide for your family, you need to also think about, and I believe strongly in the law of vibration, the law of attraction. When you are doing something from a state of lack and you're doing something just to get a quick sale, that is going to backfire on you, not only through other ripple effects of whether that be through the next client, the next encounter, but people can sense that. I was talking to one of my clients. They're amazing clients. They came from North Carolina. I helped them sell their house over there. And then we bought a home over here in El Paso. So they were telling me, they were like, you know what's crazy? Like, because they're Colombian, and they're like, we fell in love with you because you were just so honest. Like, you were just, this is what it is. They saw a lot of my videos on TikTok and they were like, oh my gosh, like, we want to work with her. So they told me they had gone to an open house several times, and every single time that they were at the open house, the agent, they were just so desperate for a sale. And we were talking about this because they're actually coming on board to the team, and they were like, Alexa, like, that energy that they were putting out just made us like, no, we don't even want to deal with you, sir. Think about it. Like, maybe you don't see that because you're in that situation at that moment in time. But the reality is that when you are in a vibration of lack, of need, people can feel that. And they're like, oh, like, that's making me feel weird. I've seen so many people at open houses, just, I use the term rotting away, because when you're at an open house, I'm not saying that's the case with all of them before some of the agents come after me and say, that's my greatest marketing tool that I have. Okay. But the reality is that when you're sitting at an open house for like a builder or like a listing agent or whatever the case might be, for the most part, people walk in with representation, or they even tell you like that they have representation when they really don't, because they don't trust you. Like, they just feel like, who are you and what do you want from me, right? So the majority of the time when you're approaching them, you're actually coming from a state of like, what can I help you with? What can I help you with? And you're not even like bothering to understand like what their situation is. Like, oh, you're looking to buy a house. Okay. Like, is there anything in specific that you're looking for? And sometimes, of course, they're short and they don't want to give you too much information. But the better you get at actually probing people without making them feel like you're trying to sell them on something, the more that they trust in you. So this is one of the key points that I want to share with you if you're starting in your industry and you just want to sell more, because by you coming from a place of service, that's going to essentially bring more of that. And I want to leave you with this quick side comment, because I know some people are going to say like, oh, well, that doesn't pay the bills. You are wrong, sir, because I'm one of the top producing agents out in my field and here in El Paso, Texas. And it's crazy because this is just counting me as a solo, okay? Because I have a few agents and I don't just like working with everybody because I don't want to have a bunch of agents in our industry just recruiting all the newbies that they don't have the same work ethic, they don't have the same principles, the same morals as what I want to attract. Therefore, it's not a good mix, right? And there's a lot of brokers out there that they'll hire anybody and everybody, but then you look at the numbers, at the real numbers, and only like 5 of their agents are actually producing and the rest are struggling and have like an actual job, right? So I remember that when people would ask me like, why is it that you're, doing so good? Like, especially like in COVID, when COVID hit, like it was one of our best years and every year it keeps growing. And it was interesting because when they asked me like, what do you do? Like, what is one of the best things you can share that actually help you? I said mindset. Like I literally wake up every day and I'm like, I'm going to keep attracting more clients. I'm in abundance. I am attracting more people like me that actually want to be helped. And I just do my whole little mantras, right? And I kid you not, every day I have a new opportunity. Every day, I kid you not. And it's so interesting because people that just don't believe in the science behind your mind and what you can attract, and this is like actually proven, okay guys? So for those of you that are just like, no, this lady's crazy, exiting out, that has been proven. It has been proven that we are all energy, and the law of polarity, right? We talk about like, there's a positive, there's a negative. And when you're constantly in the negative, when you're constantly in this vibration of lack, you're attracting more of that into your life. When you're constantly in a state of abundance, you're attracting more of that. And just think about it, if more than enough people, and you can reference a few people on your own, do your own research, but anybody that's successful will tell you mindset is the number one thing for you to attract really your highest and truest version of you. So you can sit there and burn your lashes off and cold call all day, but if your mindset is coming from a state of lack, you're going to work 100 times harder than somebody that's going to come from a state of flow, a state of abundance. So I share this because it works for me. It's worked for many others. It continues to work for many people decades and decades ago. And it's one of those things where like, if it sounds like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it must be a duck. And that's exactly the case. Like when more than enough people that are successful, multi-dollar billionaires that are sharing these secrets with you and telling you like, this it's not a secret, it's like what it is. I feel like our mind is so conditioned to wanting things to be hard that we're like, nah, there's no way that you're telling me the truth. Like really tell me the truth, right? But it's like, I'm telling you the truth. So that's actually something that I have experienced throughout the years as I continue to grow in real estate. And every year keeps getting better than the last. And I know that the next year is going to be even better. And I know that the following is going to be even better because I wholeheartedly believe that. I know that because I'm coming from a place of helping my clients and I'm educating myself and I'm coming from a place of paying it forward, I'm going to keep growing. And I share that with you because if somebody could have told me that, and actually showed me that that's what they were doing for their recipe for success, honestly, I would have listened. I would, we have 2 years for a reason, right? So with that being said, I will be making another video that will share a little bit more with like little tools that you can start doing that you can implement for you to grow. And of course, if you are ever interested in just learning more about our team and what we offer, please do not hesitate to let me know. We are here to help in any way that we can. Even if you decide not to go with our team or we decide we're just not a good fit, honestly, we're here to be a community. And instead of it being like all this animosity that, the old style of real estate used to be like, it's all about building relationships, because whether you need to show a house to somebody and maybe you're out of town, you want to have somebody that you have a relationship with. I know that before I had my agents, like I loved actually being kind to other agents and like learning from them and just paying it forward, because I know that whenever they needed my help, they were going to reach out to me just the same as me. Right now I have agents throughout the entire US that I can reach out to because I've established a relationship with them, right? And if I need somebody in California, I have somebody in California. If I need somebody in Washington, I have somebody in Washington. If I need somebody in Colorado, I have somebody in Colorado. So it's about relationships, guys. And if somebody's telling you differently, then I would encourage you to check twice on who you're listening to. With that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you in the next one.